Well, good day there, everybody. This is Joe. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to be getting together this evening with my friend Kevin, who you've met on this channel before. So I'm in my kitchen here, my dining room, and on the table I have, look at that. That is a Smith Corona Galaxy 12. There's the case to it. And I'm kind of cleaning up this typewriter a little bit, checking it out, making sure it's going to work. So we're going to get together at Kevin's house tonight, and I have plans to bring, well, this typewriter, this Galaxy 12 manual, is really kind of the backup typewriter. What I actually primarily was going to bring was its cousin, the Coronet Automatic 12 electric typewriter. I talked to Kevin on the phone today, and I said, okay, what, because we usually bring, of course, I bring typewriters when we get together, and it's like, well, what typewriters should I bring? And we've sort of, the last few meetings we've gotten together, we have a theme, maybe an impromptu theme, but we sort of have this theme. And I think last week we met together and it was sort of a Skywriter theme or a ultra portable theme. He hasn't really seen, I don't think, my Coronet Automatic 12. So yeah, I'm gonna look at it, make sure it's working, and then I'll bring it. Smith Corona typewriters are made in the USA by American craftsmen. So I don't know if you've seen the latches that hold these Smith Coronas, the typewriter, into the case, but there is a central button that you pull down and push or push up, and it moves this little latch piece to lock the typewriter in. And you have a piece of metal in here that slides back and forth in these channels, and there's a little detent button that little button goes from one groove to the other. Anyways, so this sliding thing gets full of residue and debris, and you have to clean it out with some alcohol and a little bit of oil to make it work freely. You don't want the typewriter to be stuck in the case. I keep the ephemera of this typewriter with it in its case, and I bought it on October 16th, 2014, and I paid $15 plus tax, which is one of probably the cheapest typewriter I've ever bought in terms of price. So I was excited about it, and I was in my pickup truck, and after I got it, I went over to a city park nearby, and the only piece of paper I had in my truck to test it with was this empty paper CD cover. So I remember sitting the typewriter on the tailgate of my truck, typing, and this is the original ribbon that was in it. It was a red-black bichrome ribbon. So anyways, yeah, it was pretty cool. So I have the original piece of paper that I first typed it with it, and the original receipt. Okay, that's the manual Galaxy 12. Let's take a look at the electric Coronet. Okay, those two typewriters look very similar, the cases, but if you look at the front view here, one of them is definitely taller than the other one. The taller one is the electric. Yes, it too was made with care and packed with pride by American craftsmen. So here it is, the wonderfully brownish 1960s looking Coronet Automatic 12. And when I got this typewriter was a gift of a family member, and it had been sitting in storage somewhere. The back hinges of the case are really kind of show a lot of evidence of corrosion, like it had been sitting upright on the case, on the back of the case, in some like garage environment where it got wet or something and corroded. The power cord was in absolutely terrible shape. There was literally open wires showing on multiple parts of the cord. So I took an extension cord, a nice heavy-duty extension cord, and rewired that into the typewriter. But this is the Coronet Automatic 12 with the famous power return. Woohoo! When I got this typewriter, I was less than impressed by the color of it because I already had the nice blue manual Galaxy, and you know, blue is my favorite color, and this kind of brownish colors with these yellowish keys just didn't appeal to me. But over the years, this typewriter does kind of grow on me in a way. There's a certain recollection of when I was a young kid back in the 1960s, and my dad and stepmother both smoked cigarettes, and they would throw us kids in the back of the station wagon and go on drives and the Sunday drives, and they'd both be smoking like chimneys, filling the car. It was like a bar, you know what I mean? And that's the way we grew up. And this kind of ivory colored keys reminds me of, you know, everything that was supposed to be white was really this color. I think everything in the 1960s that was supposed to be white was this color because everybody smoked. That's what it reminds me of. And then, you know, the kind of brownish color, well, this does look like chocolate. And chocolate is nice. And this kind of looks like crema on top of a nice espresso drink. Also, yeah, I'm using a brown ribbon, a brown-black ribbon. It looks pretty cool to have brown ink on this colored typewriter. But yeah, this is a real beast, but as you can see, the thing types really good. The shift lock key is a little finicky. If you push it toward the rear of the key, it won't lock. You have to push it toward the front, and then it'll lock the shift. So you just got to remember that. It's a little touchy. I have not serviced this really deeply at all. I have not taken the case off. I've only like cleaned the carriage area, because you can take the platen out. It's one of these quick release Smith Corona platens. I've cleaned all that, cleaned as much as I can in there. I've cleaned the type bar, the segment and all that, you know, but the actual internal, like the spindle that turns with the belts and all that, I have not touched that. The thing keeps working pretty darn good, and it types good. Doesn't skip at all. It will occasionally pile on letters, like I have a little bit there, a couple letters piled on if I get really fast with it. But that's the thing about this machine. You can type, or at least I can type, really fast with it. Okay, let's see about taking the platen out. How do you do that? Well, first of all, let's remove our piece of paper. Let's flip up our bail. We pull up on this guy, and there's a lever here, and we lift up on the lever and pull the platen up and to the right, and it comes right out. It has the hollow spindle where the clutch disconnect mechanism engages in there. That star-shaped plastic protrusion engages into the platen right there. And this gives you access to the pressure rollers underneath here. You can clean those nicely and clean all the shavings and dirt and debris out of the paper pan underneath it. And then to reverse the procedure, you take the left side of the platen, slip it into here, gently push it by the paper guides, and on the right, push it down, lift up this lever again, push it down into place, push that in place. There, you're done. Kevin and I have been meeting almost weekly on a regular basis, and we've been having fun. We're talking about formally making a typewriter organization here in Albuquerque, and the name that we have temporarily settled on for now is the ABQwerty Typewriter Society. We're calling it the ATS, which really is just Kevin and I, but it's fun. So Kevin has actually arranged to get us a website, and we haven't put any content on it yet, but we're going to use it as a forum for advertising typewriter get-togethers in Albuquerque and other stuff like that. So that'll be kind of fun. Well, here we are, Sunday evening. We're on the front porch of Kevin's house. Kevin and his wife are here. We have 3 electric typewriters, the Coronet Automatic 12 that you saw earlier, and we have Kevin Smith Corona who's going to show us, and his IBM 2, Selectric 2. We got some cigars, we got a little bit of Amador bourbon. Life's good. Kevin?
Howdy.
Howdy. So Kevin, why don't you describe for us what machine you brought out from your collection here?
Well, this one is the Smith Corona Electric Portable.
Oh yes, and the 5 Series electric, right?
5 Series electric portable. And what's besides that, it's a green typewriter, and I have a green theme, so I have a green ribbon in it tonight.
Oh, very cool.
Of course, and then for those mistakes, I have green encased correction tape.
In green encased, yes.
Yes, it's not actually green correction tape. And then What's unique about this one, though, it has what Smith Corona called their Gothic pica typeface.
Oh yeah.
So it is a sans serif typeface with the uppercase sans serif and then the lowercase sans serif, which is all capitals, but so it's large and small capitals for the whole thing.
Right.
And it's in 10 pitch, and it's kind of unique. It's nice, and it's a good typewriter.
Good. Well, we have ourselves an electric typewriter themed typing session tonight, and that's pretty cool. Okay, so we have this sort of informal, but getting less informal by every week idea. Kevin likes that.
Or more chaotic.
More chaotic. This idea of the ABQwerty Typewriter Society. And so Kevin has made one step closer to formalizing it by acquiring a website domain for us.
We have a website domain, yes. Yeah.
But so we have these little get-togethers, and we pretend like it's a little club, which I guess it is. But
well, it's a society. See, now that's the old.
It's a
term,
society, right?
In polite English society,
yes.
You didn't have a club,
no.
or an organization,
no.
or an association. It was a society. You got together. That's
right.
what it is. So the question that we're coming with now, and this has to do with that, we really have to name the website exactly correct.
Yeah.
We have to be all prim and proper.
Right.
Is what is the prim and proper correct spelling for the ABQwerty Typewriter Society? Should it be ALBU-QWERT, or should it be all caps? Should it be all go together? Should it be ABQ?
And did Bugs Bunny take a left turn at ABQwerty?
That's right.
That's
ABQwerty.
That's what we want to know.
So that's the question. Is how do we actually want to spell the name? And then be consistent from that point on.
Yeah.
Because it could be, but part of it has to do with the domain name. So, and here's the plug in the advertisement for the domain.
Oh yes, of course.
The advertisement of the domain is abqtypewriter.space.
Yes. We're not going to follow Robert's Rules of Order, but we will have this at the agenda. This will be at the agenda of tonight's meeting. Really, the agenda is actually this and this and these typewriters. And just, you need to light your cigar.
I need to light my cigar. It's really gone out.
Okay. So after a short period of discussion, I think the consensus is capital ABQ, lowercase WERTY, ABQwerty Typewriter Society. Kevin, tell us why we think it should be two separate words, type and writer.
Well, my wife Andrea actually explained that a little bit better than probably I can, but the idea is the type is going with the typewriter machine itself. So that's where that comes from. And then we're writers because we are attempting to be writers with it. So we wanted to separate that, and even though a lot of times there was confusion with typewriter being the person and typewriter being the machine, and it's written with a hyphen and it's not written with a hyphen, it's written as all as one words, we wanted to kind of just, the type part, even though it's just the word type, implies the typewriter, and then the writer part is just the person that is using a typewriter to write. So we join it that way.
It really looks nice that way. It kind of has a nice look to it. So this happened. I was talking to Kevin, and I was near the end of the line on the carriage, and I did this. And if you can't tell, this typewriter doesn't have a carriage return lever. It's electric. And so we call this the vestigial carriage return lever that doesn't exist, but you're used to hitting it.
Yeah, but mine has that.
Oh,
I have that, so
right.
I'm not missing any parts.
Oh no,
like
no, that's
mine has all the parts there.
All the parts.
You're going to have to get some parts to replace.
I'm going to have to get some parts. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's...
So one of the things that we noticed about these electric typewriters, all three of them, that we really love is the fact that the apostrophe is lowercase. You don't have to shift for the apostrophe. Now, why is that important, Kevin?
Well, you know how we Americans talk and speak. We're always abbreviating, condensing words and everything like that. So we're often, it's just like that, we're going to use it in our writing. We're going to use contractions. So we always use the apostrophe. And how annoying is it? You have to do shift, uppercase, number 2 for the apostrophe on most manual typewriters.
Yeah.
It's just so annoying. But this one here, you can be typing along. Of course, I'm not making any sense here, but apostrophe,
Right.
it's right there. No problem. You know, it's easy to get to. It's how all typewriters should have been.
So Kevin was just giving us a good history, a recounting of what we call in America the pound symbol on the typewriter, which is on my machine is a shifted 3. But apparently in Britain for years and years this was called the hash symbol, which is where we get hashtag. It's used in computer codes now. But according to the research that Kevin saw linked off of Ted Monk's recent blog article about the interrobang, the hash symbol is officially called the octothorpe, and it's because it has 8 endings, 8 little points coming out, octo, and thorpe relates to the athlete.
Well, it started out
Apparently-
as thirp, meaning just like, oh, this is a Greek term,
Yeah.
so it must be official.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, oh, well, instead of calling it thirp, we'll change it to thorpe
Yeah.
in honor of the athlete.
Yes.
And so it became octothorpe.
Octothorpe. So that's the official name of that symbol, but it dates back to the Greek or the Roman
It
era,
goes all the way back to the Roman era.
and it was like Libre,
It was Libre,
and
then-
a word beginning with what would be B or beta maybe, and when the scribes would write that real fast, it started to look like what we call the number sign, the hash symbol, the italicized tic-tac-toe symbol,
and checkmate.
and the checkmate symbol in chess notation. So we have that going for us. So while these two are talking, they're talking
favorite
about
typewriter, okay.
official ABQwerty Typewriter Society, how the form should be on the website. So this is proof that we don't just drink whiskey and smoke cigars. We actually do real work during these meetings. This is actual, look, this guy is actually working. He's actually doing real official typing. Well, maybe not anymore. Your machine has a touch control, right? And it is,
There's a knob here for adjusting the touch control.
yeah.
And it's very similar to manuals in the sense that it adjusts the spring on the universal bar,
Right.
and that it makes it either more or less stiff.
Right. So this machine has an empty slot underneath it, but there's no actual adjustment knob. Now I have a manual Galaxy 12 over there that does have a manual touch control underneath there, but this doesn't have it. It's probably the same basic chassis that they used in the manual typewriters, but it doesn't have it. It does have the copy set here that goes from 1 to 10, which simply how hard the type bars hit the paper for carbon copies or whatever.
And this has that also.
And yours has that also right there, which I think is very elegantly executed in their design there.
And you can actually get it, because I had an older ribbon that was new old stock, and you turn this up to 7 and all that, and it does make a heavier impression.
Does it?
It started putting holes in the ribbon. And so now I had to replace that, and I brought it back down. But obviously, if you have to increase your impression on a ribbon, that means it's probably time to change the ribbon.
Yeah. So apparently with the 6 Series electrics, they got rid of the touch control unless it's just missing out of my particular machine, which I don't know if it would be, but that's what it looks like on this one. The Cornet Automatic 12 at least doesn't have it. And lest you think that our cigar smoking is not typewriter related, I have evidence here that it is definitely typewriter related. And we have an IBM Selector 2 to prove it. We know about the interrobang from Ted Monk's recent blog article, right? And we were wondering...
Very useful punctuation mark.
And we're wondering if we couldn't create new combination symbols.
Well, and the quandary is that we have, in certain typesetting or typing, you put the quote, everybody says you're supposed to put the quote on the outside of the punctuation mark, such as the period or the comma. But a lot of us learned that in certain contextual quotes require that you really should put the quotation mark before the period or the comma.
Right.
depending on what you're quoting.
Right.
If it's conversational or you're just quoting highlighting a word that is a quote or something like that.
So to solve that dilemma,
We've come up with the period
the period.
for the quote and period combination.
So it's a quote mark with a period underneath it.
Right, in the same space.
Right. Quote mark with a period underneath it in the same space.
Or the quoma,
Or the quoma.
which is the quote mark with the comma in the same space. So of course on the typewriter you have to do quote backspace comma, or you would do quote backspace period. Right. And it looks so much better on a typewriter because one reason, you know, this monospace typewriter, you have so much wasted space on the page with the period and the quote, you know, and there's so much white space there. It looks so much better, and it looks really good, and it solves the problem entirely. So now we have new end marks in addition to the interrobang.
And this isn't the bourbon talking at all.
No, it's not the bourbon talking at all. I mean, this is serious punctuation establishment.
This is remaking the English language. It's the evolution of the English language.
The English language. And I think the typewriter is what really leads to that, much more than word processing, because, you know, proportional fonts and all that stuff, you can't tell the difference anyway.
Right. Those are old hat.
That's old hat. You know, no. The monospace typeface is the way to go.
So one of the things you have to think about when you're typing on a relatively small table is carriage lash, right? And so in order to prevent carriage clash, right? And so what we've done is we've carefully orchestrated the two members of the typewriter orchestra so that the carriages will never clash. And you'll notice that the ashtray sits below the carriages so that they never interfere either.
That's right.
So, and of course the IBM doesn't have a carriage that moves laterally, so we're okay on this front right here. So that is the official meeting bell. We didn't really ring it at the start of the meeting, but it's getting to be 11:30 at night on a Sunday. We're going to continue here, but you guys probably need to get to sleep. So until next time, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I would remind you, the whole purpose of this is really to encourage you guys to get yourself a local typewriter group together. Find someone else like-minded in your area that you can get together and have fun with typewriters. Until next time, have yourselves a great day.